All right, so welcome to this gentle yoga and meditation class today. My name is Jessica. I'm a health coach, yoga instructor. Thanks for joining us here with the Stephen Cohen Clinic. So you can go ahead and have a mat ready, perhaps with a pillow, maybe a blanket. We will be doing a guided meditation at the end of the practice. So if you want any eye cushions, anything like that, any oils that you have on hand, essential oils or something, then you can go ahead and grab those now. Or you're welcome to do the entire practice from the chair. And I would just ask that you please be gentle, honor yourself and your body today for our practice. Not pushing into any of the stretches, but just using the breath and gravity to gently bring space to the body. And we'll go ahead and settle in now. So you can have a seat in your chair, or if you're on the ground, I would suggest having a cushion, perhaps finding a cross-legged position, or maybe a kneeling position. We're going to start out with the practice on the ground or in your chair for a while. So go ahead and settle in. And I would also recommend, if you're cross-legged, you can go back and forth between a cross-legged and kneeling position, just to go back and forth between that opening of the hip, the knees, and then of the hips that you get in the different positions. So go ahead and just settle in. And if you'd like to, you can close the eyes or perhaps just adopting a soft gaze. I know many of us have had kind of crazy chaotic days. So I'd like to start by inviting you to just starting to open up to the breath as an anchor to the present moment. Just noticing the sensations of the breath in the body. Taking notice of some of the qualities of the breath, noticing the rate. How fast are you breathing? Noticing the depth of the breath. And perhaps noticing if it's more focused in the belly or in the chest. And just allowing the breath as full and unrestricted in this moment. Allowing for a long, smooth inhalation, and perhaps an even longer exhalation. If you'd like to, you can place a hand on the chest and a hand on the belly. And perhaps allowing for that more diaphragmatic breath, allowing the belly to gently rise and fall with each breath. And this is a position you can return to at any time during the practice. If anything is not comfortable for you, you can just return to a seated position or perhaps lying down. Place a hand on the chest and a hand on the belly and just reconnect with the breath. And even throughout the practice, we'll be following the breath kind of as a barometer to how we're doing in the moment. Just noticing that space at the end of the inhalation and the space at the end of the exhalation. You can go ahead and drop the hands down to the thighs, and if the eyes are closed, you can open the eyes again. Feeling welcome to close them if you'd like to at any time during the rest of our practice. And start out by just opening the joints of the body from a seated position, whether it's, sitting cross-legged, kneeling, or on the chair. We'll just place the hands on the knees, and we're going to start rotating the body, kind of rotating around our center of gravity. Starting to gently open up the hips and the spine, the shoulders and the elbows. And you can switch back and forth, changing directions. And then coming back to a tall seated position and just noticing that sensation of coming back to center, noticing what that feels like. We'll do some gentle side bending now. So you can go ahead and drop that left palm down to the floor, reaching that right arm up overhead, stretching the right side of the body. And then we'll inhale back to center and then dropping that right hand down to the ground, reaching the left arm overhead, stretching that left side of the body on the exhalation. Inhaling back to center, exhale, stretching the right side of the body. And if you're in the chair, you can just grasp either side of your chair as you gently stretch back and forth. And coming back to center again, feeling that alignment and length of the spine. We're going to do some shoulder rolls, and I would like for these to be slow, intentional. I'm going to turn to the side here, so kind of exaggerated. So we'll go ahead and bringing the shoulders forward to begin with, pulling them together so that you stretch out the shoulder blades in the back. And then we're going to bring the shoulders up towards the ears and pulling the shoulder blades together in the back, feeling that stretch in the front of the chest coming around. And then again, pulling the shoulders together in front, up towards the ears, and then pulling those shoulder blades together as they drop down towards the ground. You can do this movement with the breath also. Inhaling as you bring the shoulders up and shoulder blades together, and then exhaling as you release down. And then changing directions, going forward now. I know a lot of us have been using our computers a lot, sitting at our desks during the day. So we're just going to work on just gently opening things up here. Turn back to center. And now we're going to go ahead and take your left hand, connecting the thumb with the fingers and placing that under the crook of the left arm. We're going to make some circles with that left elbow. And you can drop that right ear towards the shoulder, getting a stretch up the left side of your neck here. And gradually increasing that circle. As you do these rotations, feeling all those connections that go from the shoulders into the neck, into the chest and the upper back. You can kind of roll the head back and forth to kind of stretch those areas where you need it today, and you can change directions. And then we'll go ahead and release that arm. And now we're going to rotate at the elbow. Just kind of allowing the arm to hang loose. And we're going to go ahead and rotate around the elbow here, spreading the fingers wide. As we spread those fingers wide, we stretch out that fascia all the way up into the neck. And you can keep that right ear towards the right shoulder. As you do those rotations of the elbow, feeling again all of those connections up into the neck and the jaw and the upper back, and changing directions. And then we'll release that arm. We're going to go ahead and stretch out the hands and the wrists. So you can just go ahead and stretch, flexing the hand back and then balling it into a fist. If this feels okay for you, if that causes tension, then just Be gentle with it. And we'll go ahead and just shake out that arm and that wrist. We'll go ahead and move over to our other side. And so now taking the right hand and connecting the thumb with those 4 fingers, placing it under the crook of the arm, we're going to start to make some small circles with that right elbow as we drop our left ear towards our left shoulder. And gradually increasing the range of motion there. Feeling all those connections in the neck, the chest, and the upper back. And then as you're ready, changing directions again. And then we'll release that arm. And we'll do those rotations now at the elbow. So spreading the fingers wide, hand wide, we're going to go ahead and just rotate around. So the thumb's leading. And again, dropping that left ear towards the left shoulder. Feeling that stretch from the right side of the neck. And changing directions again. And releasing, and again, you can ball that hand up into a fist, stretching it out, doing that a few times. And then just shaking out that right arm, right hand, right shoulder. Okay. And we'll do some neck rotations next. So you can go ahead and drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, and then just allowing gravity to bring the chin towards the chest, and then the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then going back the other direction, allowing gravity to pull the chin towards the chest, left ear towards left shoulder. You can just move at your own pace here, perhaps following the breath once again with this movement. Noticing where you might have any tight areas that might need a little more work, and you can kind of stick with that, whatever you need today. And coming back to a neutral spine again. And we'll do what's kind of a stretch of the upper back here. So like for you to, you can readjust if you need to, finding a length in the spine here. And as though you're pressing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling and bringing the chin in towards the chest, feeling that stretch up the back of the neck. We're going to go ahead and inhale the arms up overhead, but not bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, just leaving the shoulders relaxed. And then as we exhale, we're going to pull those elbows in towards the rib cage as we extend the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then release. And again, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And then exhale, pulling the elbows in towards the rib cage, extending the crown of the head up towards the ceiling with the chin tucked again. And release. We'll do this one more time. Inhaling the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, pulling those elbows in towards the rib cage. And while you're here, you can even gently kind of roll the neck back and forth. Very gently. And then releasing the arms down. We'll do a little spine twist yet while we're seated here. So we're going to inhale the arms up overhead again. However, if that causes tension in your neck, just know that for this exercise, you can just leave the hands on the hips rather than bringing the arms up overhead. Otherwise, you can go ahead and inhale the arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist towards your right and dropping the left hand in front of you, the right hand behind you. And twisting the gaze so that you look over that right shoulder. And then we'll inhale the arms back towards, inhale back to center, arms overhead. As you exhale, gently twisting towards your left side now. Gaze going over that left shoulder. Inhaling back to center, arms up overhead. Feeling that expansion in the chest and the front body. And as you exhale, twisting towards the right, gaze over the right shoulder. And I'm seeing the snow outside here. Beautiful flakes. Go ahead and continue on here at the pace of your own breath. With each inhalation, finding that length in the spine, and the exhale, as though you're squeezing the breath right out here with that twist. I'll do one more here. And on the next exhalation, just allowing the hands to fall back towards the sides here. We're going to do that movement we did at the beginning of the practice, the rotation. So we're going to do it a little bit deeper this time now that we've opened up some of the joints of the body. So again, you can place those hands on the thighs or on the knees. And you're going to go ahead and bring that right shoulder here towards the left knee. And then sweeping down so the nose almost touches the ground and bringing the left shoulder towards the right knee and back up. And then we're going to go back that same direction. So the left knee goes toward, or sorry, the left shoulder towards the right knee, sweeping across so the nose almost touches the ground if you're down on the ground. And then the right shoulder towards the left knee and coming back around. And perhaps noticing how the body's a little bit more open now. If you're in the chair, then your nose will not be coming close to touching the ground here. And again, coming back to a neutral spine. And you can make any movements, final movements of the neck or the shoulders that feel good to you. Any final movements of the spine from the seated position. And we're going to go ahead and make our way to our mat in a tabletop position. If you're having any wrist pain when we have the hands down on the ground, you can make a fist with the hand so that you're not flexing the wrist back, and just place the knuckles on the mat. And I'll show that for those of you who are in the chair, first I'll show you as we're doing our cat-cow, you're going to do something similar in the chair, only you'll be sitting. And as you inhale, you'll lift the gaze upward, expanding the chest. And then as you exhale, pressing the mid back towards your chair and just arching forwards here, chin towards the chest. So it'll be similar to what we're doing on the mat. And for those of you who are on the mat in our tabletop position, as you inhale, you'll go ahead and drop the belly towards the mat, lifting the gaze upwards. And then as you exhale, tilting so that the tailbone goes towards the mat, arching the mid back up towards the ceiling, chin towards the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, mid back up towards the ceiling, chin in towards the chest. Go ahead, moving on at the pace of your own breath, just gently increasing the movement here. And for those who are on the mat, you can go ahead and bring a little bit more movement here, kind of swiveling the hips around, just exploring what starts to open things up for you here. And then while you're doing some creative movements with that, I'll show those of you who are in the chair for our next one, we're going to be doing our Cobra to child's pose. So you'll just lean the body forward, and for our Cobra, you'll lift the gaze upward. And then as we do our child's pose, you're just going to drape the body over the thighs, allowing for opening in the back body as you tuck the chin in towards the chest. And then you'll inhale, pressing up again to your Cobra, and exhale, draping the chest over the thighs, allowing for that opening in the back body. And those who are on the mat, we'll come back to our tabletop position. This will be a breath, a movement following the breath here. So as you inhale, you're going to go ahead and shift the weight forwards, coming towards a cobra. Shoulders away from the ears here. And then as you exhale, shifting the hips so that they come back towards the heels, chin in towards the chest, head coming down towards the mat. And then you'll inhale, again, shifting the weight forwards, coming towards Cobra, getting a gentle back bend here. Shoulders away from the ears, gaze forward, and then exhale, shifting the weight backwards, hips towards the heels, chin in towards the chest. And following your breath here. Inhaling, finding that length in the spine in Cobra, and exhaling back into the weight of child's posture. And whether you're in the chair or on the mat, we're going to go ahead and hold on the next exhalation in child's posture. If you're on the ground, perhaps you might want a blanket or a block to place the forehead on, or perhaps a blanket for behind the seat to help support you a little bit more. And if you're in the chair, if you have a blanket or a pillow, you can place it on the thighs and just drape the body forwards over the pillow or blanket. And wherever you're at, allowing the head to come down towards the thighs or a blanket or a pillow, and feeling the weight of the forehead against that surface. And you can bring the hands back towards the shoulders if that's more comfortable for you from the ground. And taking a few breaths here and feeling that expansion of the back body with each breath. And feeling the connection of the body with the ground, with the chair. And as you're ready, we'll go ahead and press on back up to a seated position. For those who are on the mat, we're going to come to a wide-legged position. And if you'd like to, if you have a blanket available, you can use the blanket just to slightly elevate the pelvis here. If you sit on the very edge of it, it helps to tilt the pelvis forward a bit. Or if you're in the chair, you can just spread the legs wide here. I'm just taking a minute to settle into this new position. And you can flex the feet gently and extending them outward here. Kind of that energetic idea of extending outward. Just noticing the areas where the body now comes in contact with the ground. And feeling the length of the spine. We're going to go ahead and turn towards our left here. You can place the fingertips on the ground So you'll have the right hand in the front pressing in and the left hand behind you, just pressing the fingertips into the ground to find more length in the spine. So you'll inhale, finding that length, exhale, gently folding forward over that left leg. And then as you inhale, releasing again, finding that length in the spine, exhale, gently folding forward. And if you're in the chair here, you can just have the hand on the front of the chair and the hand on the side of the chair to kind of help stabilize you. And coming back up to center, we'll go ahead and rotate to the other side. So now facing the right foot, pressing the fingertips into the ground, finding that length in the spine on the inhalation, and then the exhale, gently folding forward again. Inhale, releasing, finding length, and exhale, folding forward. And then inhaling back up to a neutral spine. And then we're gonna just fold forward this time. So you can press the fingertips into the ground again, finding that length on the inhalation, exhalation, gently folding forward. Inhale, finding length, exhale, folding forward. I'm not looking to fold forward as far as you can here necessarily, but more trying to find that length in the body. And then inhaling back up. We'll go ahead and pull both the legs in now for our staff posture. And then we're gonna go ahead and rotate the ankles here. As you rotate the ankles, noticing how that also brings that rotation, opening into the knees, into the hips, into the lower back. And you can change directions. And then flexing the feet and pointing them. As you're doing this, just really feeling into the body. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just engage the feet outward, pressing the fingertips into the ground, feet ahead, and we're gonna do the same thing here. Inhale, finding length in the spine, exhale, gently folding forward. Inhale, release, finding length, exhale, fold forward. And then inhaling back up to a tall spine. We'll go ahead and pull our feet in, soles of the feet together. If you're seated in the chair, they might be out a little bit farther, just kind of something like this. Same thing if you're on the ground. They might not come in to a great extent. That's okay. Wherever you're at today is fine for your body. So again, we'll kind of tilt the pelvis forward here. And as we inhale, you can place the fingertips behind you again, finding that length, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, releasing, finding length, exhale, forward fold. And you can bring the hands forward if you'd like to. Just gently using the breath here to find just a little bit deeper depth. And as you're ready, sitting back up, we'll go ahead and stretch the legs out again. You can go ahead and shake the legs out. And then we're going to come to our backs for those who are on the mat. So if you're lying down, you can just bend the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the ground, and perhaps bringing the hands to the belly again. Same if you're in the chair, you can bring the hands to the belly. And again, settling in now in this new position. Noticing the areas of the body that are now connected with the ground or with the chair. And feeling that connection of the soles of the feet with the ground. And with each exhalation, perhaps feeling the body almost melting into the ground or into the chair here. And allowing the belly to gently rise and fall with each breath. And then if you're lying on the ground, we'll go ahead and pull the knees in towards the chest. And if you're in the chair, you can bring the chest forward to the thighs. We'll gently roll back and forth, gently massaging the lower back. And then placing a hand on each knee, we're going to go ahead and rotate the knees out and away from each other. So making circles with the knees to rotate the hips and feeling those connections into the back. I'll just show those of you who are in the chair, you can do something similar here. You'll have the hands on the knees and you can just press the toes into the ground to make those circles. And as you're ready, changing directions. And then extending the legs out long, and you can flex the feet, and we'll do some rotations again of the ankles. Feeling all those connections down the back of the legs into the lower back. Then we're going to drop that left foot to the ground and pulling the right knee in towards the chest if you're on the ground. And if you're in the chair, you're just going to stretch the right leg out long and flex the foot. And then we'll all stretch that right leg out and flex the foot here. Then you can rotate the ankle. So for those in the chair, you'll stretch that leg out long and then do a forward fold to help stretch out that hamstring. And then we're going to go ahead and bring that right heel to the left knee and then just allow that right knee to fall out to the side, getting an opening in that right hip. And if you're lying on the ground, we can spread the arms out wide, kind of helping to anchor the body here. If you'd like a little bit deeper stretch, you can go ahead and pull that left knee in towards the chest. Or even extending that left leg up long. And then as you're ready, we'll go ahead and release that right leg back. And now we're going to pull the left knee in towards the chest. Or if you're sitting in the chair, you're going to extend that left leg out long and do a little forward fold. And then extending the left leg so that left foot up towards the ceiling. You can do some rotations of the ankle again. And flexing and pointing the foot. And then we'll bring that left heel to the right knee, allowing that left knee to fall out towards the side, getting a stretch in that left hip. Perhaps pulling that right knee or that right thigh in towards the chest to deepen the stretch a bit. You can extend that right leg up towards the ceiling or right foot if you'd like to also. And then releasing that right foot back towards the ground. Now we'll bring both feet to the ground. You're going to bring the feet so that they're about mat width apart or perhaps a little bit wider than the chair here. And we're going to windshield wiper our legs back and forth with the breath, getting a gentle spine twist here, whether you're lying down or in the chair. If you're lying down, you can spread the arms out wide to help anchor the upper body here. And as you exhale, we're going to drop our legs out towards the left side. And then inhaling the knees back towards center and exhale, dropping towards the right side. Inhaling to center, exhaling, other side. And again, here, just moving at the pace of your own breath, allowing your breath to lead the movement. And if you'd like to, you can turn the head so that the gaze goes in the opposite direction that the knees are falling. And then coming back to center. And I'd like to invite you to just make any final movements that might feel good for your body. If you'd like to, you can do a bridge, pressing the feet into the ground, gently lifting the pelvis up off the floor, finding length in the spine and rolling down. Or perhaps pulling the knees into the chest again and rocking back and forth. And eventually we're going to settle into our final resting position. That might be Shavasana for you, perhaps sitting up. If you want to do Shavasana, you can just extend the legs out long, spreading the feet out so they're about mat distance apart, just letting the legs fall out, letting the arms fall out to the side with the palms upward. You can always place something behind the knees to help take pressure off of the lower back. Perhaps a blanket behind the head or a blanket over the body to keep it warm. And if you're sitting in the chair, just finding a nice neutral position of the spine. So that might mean that you need to move forward a bit or back in the chair, whatever's comfortable for you, or perhaps placing something under the feet if you're in the chair and they don't quite touch the ground solidly. Always a position, possibility to sit up also if you'd like to, whatever's comfortable for you, just settling in. If you'd like to, you can close the eyes again or just adopting a soft gaze. And the palms might be upward, perhaps resting down, or perhaps a hand on the belly and one on the chest, whatever feels right for you. Just noticing the sounds in the room around you, noticing the sound of my voice. Noticing the sensations of air on the skin. Perhaps the sensation of fabric. Just scan the body, noticing any tensions that might be present and giving them permission to release. And if they don't, just noticing that also. Sensing the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Sensing the cheeks, the temples, the forehead. Just allowing them to release to gravity. And sensing the top of the head, back of the head. Sensing the neck and the shoulders. Sensing the left arm and left hand. Sensing the right arm and right hand. Sensing the chest and the belly, and just noticing their gentle movements with the breath. Sensing the upper back, shoulder blades, mid back. Sensing the gentle curve of the lower back. Sensing the hips and the pelvis. Sensing the left leg and left foot. Sensing the right leg and right foot. Sensing the entire lower body release to gravity. Sensing the entire body supported and held by the surface that it's resting on. Just noticing all those contact points with the ground or with the chair. Bringing the attention to the breath. Perhaps noticing the movement of air at the nostrils. Sensing the coolness of the inhalation and the gentle warmth of the exhalation. Perhaps the coolness of air at the vocal cords. Sensing the gentle expansion and release of the rib cage and of the belly with the breath. And if it feels right for you, we'll do a practice of breath counting. Go something like this. As you inhale, sense the belly rise, counting 1. Exhale as the belly releases, counting 1. Inhale, sense the belly rise, counting 2. Exhale, sense the belly release, counting 2. Inhale, belly rises, counting 3. Exhale as the belly releases, counting 3. Continuing on at the pace of your own breath. As thoughts arise and you lose count, that's okay, without judgment, just beginning again at 1. Counting, breathing, full focus on counting and breathing. As you lose count, that's okay, just beginning and again at 1. And now letting go of counting and just breathing. Full focus on the sensations of the breath and the body. And sensing the breath gently ebbing and flowing like a wave through the body. Sensing the breath nourishing every cell of the body. Perhaps noticing that stillness at the inhalation and the stillness at the end of the exhalation. And now you can begin to bring some gentle movement to the fingers and the toes. If you're lying down, perhaps just stretching out, maybe reaching the arms overhead. And stretching from the fingers to the toes. You can roll over to one side, taking a few breaths there. And as you're ready, you can slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position. And with the eyes closed for a few more breaths, just noticing sounds in the room around you. Noticing sensation of the air on the skin. Just noticing what thoughts might now be present and what sensations are now present in the body. And as you're ready, you can begin to bring in some light to the eyes and just taking in the sensations of color and shapes in the room around you. As you're ready, arriving fully present in this moment, just as it is.